Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama fans are spoiled because winning is just normal life for them. They've basically treated college football like their personal dynasty for the last 15 years. Nick Saban could lose half his team to the NFL draft every year, and Bama fans would still expect to go undefeated and win the national championship. Half the roster's gone? Doesn't matter, they'll just promote the backups. They're basically NFL starters anyway. When other teams lose their starting quarterback, it's a disaster. When Alabama loses theirs, fans just assume the backup is secretly better. They see 5-star recruits like it's normal grocery shopping. Oh, another number 1 recruiting class. Cool, throw it on the pile. Players even joke, you don't come here to start, you come here to survive practice. Alabama's basically become an NFL factory. Scouts might as well set up an office in Tuscaloosa at this point. And if Alabama actually loses a game, full meltdown. The message boards go nuclear. They want the offensive coordinator fired, the defensive coordinator replaced, and start asking if Nick Saban's lost his edge, even though he's already won 7 national titles. Even now, with Saban retired and Kalen DeBoer stepping in, fans still act like nothing's changed. Of course we're gonna win. Why wouldn't we? Alabama fans are spoiled because they've lived at the top so long, they forgot what the bottom even feels like. Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia fans are finally confident because after decades of pain, they finally flipped the script. For years, Georgia was that team everyone called the next big thing, right before they'd choke in the biggest game. 1980 was a curse word, not a championship year. Every rival would remind them how long it's been since they won it all. But then Kirby Smart showed up. The former Saban assistant basically built Alabama 2.0 in Athens, and suddenly, Georgia turned into a monster. Back-to-back national titles in 2021 and 2022, undefeated seasons, playoff dominance, and just like that, the 1980 joke stopped. Now Georgia fans walk around like they own the sport. And honestly, it's hard to argue. The defense is loaded every year. The offense just keeps reloading. Brock Bowers became a cheat code at tight end. Stetson Bennett went from walk-on to legend. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, they all got drafted and the machine never slowed down. Even when they lost to Alabama in 2023, Georgia fans basically shrugged. Whatever, we'll be back next year. Because that's just how it works now. They expect the playoff, they expect a title shot. Anything less feels broken. Georgia fans are finally confident because after years of heartbreak, they're living in the golden era, and they don't plan on leaving anytime soon. LSU Tigers. LSU fans are wild because football is basically religion in Baton Rouge. It's nearly impossible to find a better college football atmosphere than on a Saturday night in Baton Rouge. These people don't tailgate, they throw full-blown festivals. And when the sun sets and Death Valley lights up, it's one of the loudest, most electric stadiums in the country. They live for Saturday nights. They've got good reason to be this crazy. National titles in 2003, 2007, and that insane 2019 run with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson rewriting record books. That 2019 team was basically an NFL roster in college jerseys. Since then, Brian Kelly has kept them in the national conversation, pumping out first-round picks like Will Campbell and Malik Neighbors. Even when they lose a game, LSU fans just crank up the gumbo pot and say, "We'll be back next year," because they always believe the next superstar is already on campus. LSU fans are wild because every game feels like a party they refuse to leave. Florida Gators. Florida fans are demanding because Gator football is supposed to be elite, always. This is a fan base built on winning. 2 national titles in 1996 and 2006, 8 SEC championships, and legends like Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer gave Florida fans a taste of the top, and now they expect to live there. Every fall, the Swamp turns into one of the loudest, most hostile stadiums in college football. And if you're not playing well, they'll boo you right off the field. No hesitation. They chant Mr. 2 Bits before every game and bleed Gator blue like it's a birthright. Even with NFL legends like Emmitt Smith, Fred Taylor, and Jeevan Kearse in their history, and viral stars like 464-pound Desmond Big Des Watson making headlines now, Gator fans still demand more. Florida fans are demanding because once you've lived at the top, anything less feels unacceptable. Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee fans are chaotic because every game feels like a roller coaster they refuse to get off. They're some of the most loyal fans in college football, filling Neyland's 102,000 seats no matter how bad the season gets. They survived an entire decade of heartbreak and still showed up like it was 1998 all over again. The traditions? legendary. Running through the T-checkerboard end zones, Rocky Top blasting 50 times a game like it's stuck on repeat. And let's not forget the Vol Navy floating into the stadium like it's game day Mardi Gras. Even when they finally upset Alabama in 2022, fans tore down the goalposts, carried them through Knoxville, and dumped them in the river. Because why not? But if things go south, expect mustard bottles flying and message boards melting. Tennessee fans are chaotic because they live every game like it's their last shot at happiness. Auburn Tigers. Their attendance is always near the best in the nation, despite their team being incredibly underwhelming. In recent years, Auburn fans are loyal because they live and breathe the Auburn family no matter what. Founded in 1892 with 2 national titles, 1957-2010, and Heisman legends like Bo Jackson, Cam Newton, and Pat Sullivan, their history runs deep. Game days are magical. War Eagle flying, Tiger Walk roaring, and Toomer's Corner getting rolled after wins. Even when records dip, they act like the next kick six miracle is always around the corner. The Alabama obsession? Very real. Poisoned trees? Anyone? But win or lose, Auburn fans keep showing up like it's the national title game every Saturday. Texas A&M Aggies. Texas A&M fans are obsessed because being an Aggie feels like joining a lifelong secret society. Founded in 1876 with the 12th man tradition since 1922, Aggies stand the entire game ready to go in. The Aggie ring has been clinking since 1894. Midnight Yell draws 20,000 fans before every game. And yes, they literally hiss instead of boo. The corps of cadets march in perfect formation, while the Elephant Walk and Bonfire honor seniors and past Aggies. Even though they haven't won a national championship since 1939, Kyle Field still erupts with 100,000 Maroon loyalists. Outsiders say it's cult-like. Aggies say it's family. No matter the record, they're always yelling, always marching, always united. Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss fans are glamorous because for them, college football is equal parts fashion show, tradition, and game day party. Founded in 1893, they've won 6 SEC titles and claimed 1 national championship, 1960. But let's be honest, the real show starts before kickoff. The Grove transforms into a Southern high society tailgate, white tents, chandeliers, and enough bow ties to fill a Kentucky derby. The Walk of Champions fires up the crowd as players stroll through, fans locking arms and swaying. Hotty toddy! Chants ring out like gospel. Their landshark mascot is modern, but their past carries baggage, from controversial symbols to messy reforms. Even when the wins don't come, the vibe never fades. Their haters joke it's more about the party than the scoreboard, but Rebels fans don't care. They'll dress up, chant, and celebrate like every Saturday is a homecoming. Mississippi State Bulldogs. Mississippi State fans are stubborn because they'll cling to their cowbells even when nobody else wants to hear them. The cowbell's been their identity since the mid-1900s, so much so the SEC literally banned it for decades. Now, they can only ring it during breaks, which of course they stretch as far as possible. Opponents say it's just cowbells and nothing else, but to Bulldogs, it's sacred noise. Even after a brutal 2-10 season in 2024, they still showed up at Davis Wade, tailgating with barbecue and bourbon by 10 a.m. The famous Maroon Band keeps the place rocking, sometimes even cranking Who Let the Dogs Out song like it's 2001 again. Mississippi State fans are stubborn because win or lose, they'll ring that bell like it's keeping the lights on. South Carolina Gamecocks. This is a football team that has never won anything aside from a 1969 ACC championship and a 2010 SEC East Divisional title. Although South Carolina fans are loud since their whole game day is meant to shake the place. Before the game, 16,000 people are already tailgating early in the morning with barbecue and beer. When the team enters, they play Also Sprach Zarathustra, the epic intro from 2001, A Space Odyssey, and the crowd erupts. The entire stadium starts shaking, towels whip through the air, and then Sandstorm, a famous techno dance song drops, turning the place into a giant dance party with 80,000 people. This is their tradition. Even when the team struggles, they fill up Williams-Brice with over 77,000 fans. They have beaten big teams like Tennessee and Texas A&M, and when football gets rough, they dominate in women's basketball with national championships. South Carolina fans are loud because even if they don't always win, they always bring the noise. Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky fans are loyal because every win feels like they're climbing mountains they weren't supposed to reach. Since 1881, Kentucky's played football, But basketball has always been kind of their thing. The Kentucky Wildcats, or Big Blue Nation as they call themselves, lives and breathes hoops, but football fans still pack Kroger Field with 61,000 strong. They haven't won a national title since 1950, but under Mark Stoops, they've built real momentum, 7 straight bowl appearances, big wins over Florida, and even upset scares against Georgia. Fans know they're the underdogs in the SEC East, and they embrace it. Rivalries with Louisville and Tennessee keep the fire lit, and any victory against the SEC Giants feels like stealing candy from the cool kids. Sure, rivals joke they're just happy to be here, or more focused on basketball, but Kentucky fans don't care. They're loyal because for them, football isn't about being perfect, it's about proving they belong. Missouri Tigers Mizzou may be number 1. 13 in the SEC, but it would probably crack the top 30 on a nationwide list. They're the SEC's newer kid on the block, joining in 2012, but that didn't stop them from winning back-to-back division titles in 2013 and 2014. Mizzou fans hold tight to their rich history, legendary coaches like Gary Pinkel and Dan Devine, 13 consensus All-Americans, and high points like 1960 and 2007 that they still proudly celebrate, even if some rivals love to call them phantom titles. Sure, they've had recruiting struggles and their bowl record sits below .500, but this is a Midwest fan base built on resilience. Whether the opponent is Alabama or Kansas when that rivalry shows up, the Tiger faithful fill Columbia with loyal, realistic, and loud support. Missouri fans are proud because even in the toughest league in football, they've shown they can swing with the heavyweights. Arkansas Razorbacks Arkansas saw a 35.6% increase in fan attendance from the 2019 season. That's great, but that also tells us they lose interest when their team is bad. Since joining the SEC in 1992, they've battled the heavyweights like Alabama, Georgia, and LSU, with plenty of bumps along the way. Their 14-23-3 bowl record doesn't exactly scream dominance, and rivals love to remind them they've never produced a Heisman winner. Some even joke Arkansas still belongs back in the old Southwest Conference. But Razorback fans don't care. This is the only major school with a hog as its mascot. The Woo Pig Sooie chant shakes the entire state. Frank Broyles is a legend, Darren McFadden still feels like royalty, and the 1994 SEC Championship remains a proud banner. Even when seasons go sideways, they pack Donald W. Reynolds Stadium like every Saturday is their Super Bowl. Vanderbilt Commodores football started here in 1890, and while Vandy helped found the SEC in 1932, they've been fighting uphill ever since. Unlike most SEC fan bases screaming for national titles, Commodore fans balance football passion with academic pride. They're small but fiercely loyal, showing up for game days that feel more like neighborhood gatherings than SEC block parties. Tailgating is calmer, more family-friendly, but still full of black and gold pride. Sure, they've never hit a 10-win season, their SEC record is brutal, and yes, they're usually the team other fan bases call the easy win. But every upset, like the 2023 shocker over number 1 Alabama, feels like a national championship to Vandy fans. They've produced 7 consensus All-Americans and NFL stars like Jay Cutler, showing they can develop talent even while competing with schools that spend 5 times as much. Vanderbilt fans are resilient because while everyone else chases trophies, they take pride in standing tall at the intersection of academics, tradition, and the toughest conference in college football, Texas Longhorns. They've got the money, the history, the stadium, and one of the biggest fan bases in college football. Their Bevo Longhorn steer logo is basically a royalty symbol. The Hook'em Horns hand sign isn't just a cheer, it's a global symbol of Texas pride. With 62 bowl appearances, second all-time, and 29 wins, Longhorn fans know they belong in college football's elite club.
But here's where it gets fun. The expectations are sky high and the patience is paper thin. They haven't won a national title since 2005, and every rough season brings the same Texas is back debates. Big losses to Oklahoma or Texas A&M light up message boards like wildfires. Coaching turnover? Plenty. Every new hire brings Super Bowl level hype. And when it doesn't pan out, a full-on meltdown. Still, every Saturday, they pack the tailgates, flood Darrell K. Royal Stadium, and show up believing this is their year. Texas fans are proud because even when the results don't match the hype, they carry themselves like champions anyway.
Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma fans are elite because they're built on winning, and they expect nothing less. With nearly 950 wins, 7 national titles, and a winning percentage over .720,
The Sooners aren't just part of college football history, they are college football history. The Boomer Sooner fight song blasts like a battle cry, and Gaylord Family Stadium turns into a sea of crimson every Saturday. This fan base isn't just local, their national reach makes them one of the loudest, proudest groups in the sport. The Red River Showdown with Texas fuels half their year. If they beat Texas, life is good. If they lose, the fan base melts down for a full week. The expectations here are simple: conference titles, playoff appearances, national championships every single year. But recent years have been a little bumpy. 0-4 in the college football playoff, coaching changes, and a few rivalry losses have given their rivals plenty of ammo. Critics call them arrogant. Rivals say they're not ready for the SEC, but Sooners fans don't blink. They've got 7 Heisman winners, a record-breaking winning streak, and a tradition that most schools can't touch.